Well, hello out there, BoomerTime family, and Happy New Year. I have some exciting news for you for 2026. It's Nancy Cogar, your elder law and estate planning attorney and advocate, long-term care planning and caregiving preparation. I aim to help you with that. And I've got a great new tool coming out that you are absolutely going to want to have. It's a book. It's called BoomerTime Blueprint, and it does just that. It offers a blueprint for how you can get prepared. It also offers chock full of information and resources because you know that I love resources, and it will help with some of those stubborn folks who don't understand or don't think that what you're trying to do for their plan is important. It will show you why you need things, when you need them, and what may happen if you don't have it. So look out for BoomerTime Blueprint. And I am excited to get that in your hands. You can reserve a copy at nancycogar.com. Well, Happy New Year out there. Hey, I've got a question for you. Do you have a will, power of attorney, trust, anything that helps protect your property or protect you? Well, if you do, when was the last time you pulled it out of a drawer? If it's been more than 5 years, I would recommend you have someone look at that and see if it needs some updating. I'm sure life has changed in between that time. And if you don't have one, well, get out there and get one. I'm going to have New Year's resolutions today, 10 or so, depending on how much time I have here, but reasons that you should have your estate plan together, and it should be specific to your needs. Or if you got one and it's old, you need to get that thing updated. Hello there, you know it's me, Nancy Cogar, host of BoomerTime and your elder law, estate planning, long-term care, and caregiver advocate. All those things are available for you, and I love doing it. Well, we've got our 10 or so New Year's resolutions that I want to share with you today, both why you need them and what they protect, and even what might happen if you don't have it. Okay, and I'm talking about estate planning, long-term care planning, of course, caregiving, and elder law. First of all, why do I keep blabbing about this? Why do you need a basic estate plan? That includes a will, last will and testament, or a trust. Well, here's reason, and I've already shared that with you, but it's to protect you and protect your property. Not only that, it will leave it to whoever you want it to go to, right? And control under what terms. So if you don't have that in place, you're relying on the state law to control who gets what, when, and where, and how much. Now, that seems like reason enough to me, but that's why this is so important. It serves as instructions for what happens to your stuff after you die. Secondly, why do you need powers of attorney? Well, same thing, except it has to do with you personally. What are you going to do if you become disabled, unconscious, unable to communicate, unable to pay your bills, so forth? It's not that easy. You need to appoint someone, trustworthy, of course, that can make those decisions for you before you need that. That is the key, guys. You got to have someone in place that can serve through an enforceable document before you need it. Otherwise, you're leaving your family up to going to court to ask the court to give them permission to make decisions for you. Don't do that, okay? Here's another New Year's resolution. Take a look at the names that you have in any existing documents for executors, trustees, and agents that may be appointed in powers of attorney. You know, I hate to say it, but a lot of times I've seen people who are no longer around. Either they've moved or they're no longer around. They've died, okay? So those people cannot serve, and it's time for you to update those documents. Now, if you don't have anybody appointed to serve, or they're incapacitated and can't serve, because so much time has gone by since you appointed them in those documents, then guess what? You are going to have to go to court, and you are going to have to ask, or whoever is wanting to take care of you is going to have to ask the court to appoint them as your fiduciary at that point. Don't let that happen. Well, If you've got a core estate plan in place, and I'm talking a will that's enforceable or a trust, right, that you can work with right away, and you've got powers of attorney, you are ahead of the game. Now, if you've got those things in place and you haven't looked at them in years and years, well, that's a problem too. And I think that should be part of our New Year's resolutions. Why does it matter? Well, I have people come in here all the time and they bring their documents that they've done 15, 20 years ago. Their kids are 3, right? They're at a job that they no longer work at. They've got people in there who are dead or no longer part of the family for whatever reason. It just doesn't work. And if you leave it in a drawer and you don't take a look at it, you may have forgotten that you appointed them or left certain things to them. You need to take a look at those things. You may have new assets. Your property may have changed. Maybe you have got grandkids. Hooray, right? But you've got to take some steps to appoint them and update those documents. It's worth it. Then, maybe you've had a spouse die, right? I know that's hard, but afterwards, when the dust starts to settle and clear, you're going to have to look at whether any of your estate planning needs to be changed. And most often it does. Hey, what if you meet someone down the road and you get married again, right? That person may have been married before, and then you got the situation with the blended family. You bring certain assets, they bring certain assets. Maybe they want to leave them to their respective children. That's okay. That happens all the time, but you got to plan. Otherwise, it may totally backfire, and I've seen that happen too. So, Tennessee, here where I am, is not a community property state, but the state that you live in may be. So you need to look at what is separate and community property, or what are considered marital or joint assets. That will absolutely affect how they pass after you die. And again, if you don't have anything in place or it's outdated, that could spell big trouble, right? Trouble, trouble. These are important things for you to be aware of and act on in this new year, right? That's why I'm calling them New Year's resolutions. I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, I'll make it down the rest of my list. Stick with me. Well, hello out there, BoomerTime family, and Happy New Year. I have some exciting news for you for 2026. It's Nancy Cogar, your elder law and estate planning attorney and advocate, long-term care planning and caregiving preparation. I aim to help you with that. And I've got a great new tool coming out that you are absolutely going to want to have. It's a book. It's called BoomerTime Blueprint, and it does just that. It offers a blueprint for how you can get prepared. It also offers chock full of information and resources, because you know that I love resources, and it will help with some of those stubborn folks who don't understand or don't think that what you're trying to do for their plan is important. It will show you why you need things, when you need them, and what may happen if you don't have it. So look out for BoomerTime Blueprint, and I am excited to get that in your hands. You can reserve a copy at nancycogar.com. Welcome back to BoomerTime. Thanks for sticking with me. I'm excited about that book, and I hope you are too. It's going to help a lot of people, and we are working through New Year's resolutions for estate planning and planning altogether. Hey, you need to be able to have the right decision makers in place. And I'm not just talking, well, they'll take care of it. You need people that are appointed and legally empowered to make decisions for you if they need to be. There's a big difference between those two. Do you know what the difference is? You don't want to know if you're on the side where you can't get it done. Let's look at that issue. I've already mentioned powers of attorney, but you need to either execute or update those powers of attorney, especially when it comes to financial powers of attorney. Say you're in the hospital and you need to pay the bill. The bank's not going to wait for you to get out of the hospital. You have to have somebody who can pay that mortgage payment for you and maintain all the other bills. This is important stuff, people. You don't want to be on the back end of that, right? Also, healthcare powers of attorney and even advance directives. If something serious happens to you, you need to have someone authorized to make decisions and even hear about your medical conditions, right? We've got those HIPAA laws. You have to have this stuff in place, and it needs to be enforceable. Hey, what happens if you're incapacitated? What if somebody tries to say you're incapacitated and you're not? That's a legal dispute, and you need to have something in place for who takes care of you if you do become incapacitated and lose control, because the alternative is never fun, and it usually involves someone petitioning a court for a conservatorship, which removes powers from you to them, and the court will remain in control thereafter most of the time. Here's one that just really, I think about this, and I really want people to take action, especially this year with my new BoomerTime Blueprint book coming out. Address long-term care planning, okay? End-of-life care, long-term care is insanely expensive. I mean, I see people paying $10,000, $15,000 a month. You could blow through money big time and quickly, right? You need to look at this issue. You need to spend some time talking about where you want to be, how long you want to be there, how are you going to pay for it, who's going to make those decisions for you. And not only that, if you want to stay at home, which 95% of you say you do, then you're going to have to make some investments in that house that you've had for 50 plus years and make some changes so that you don't fall down, end up in the hospital, and in a nursing home, right? We do not want that to happen. I want to help you to delay or avoid all that altogether. So the main point, plan. And you've got to take some action. Don't be stubborn. I know some of you out there, you're so very stubborn, you don't even want to talk about this stuff. Please, you need to help yourself and talk about these things with family members, with people you trust, and take action so that something actually gets done. That makes sense, doesn't it? Well, so why are there 70% of people that have no plan in place? It's not going to be some kind of superstitious thing where because you put the plan in place, then, oh no, there's this omen of you becoming ill and dead. That is not what's going to happen. You need to have something in place because life is uncertain, right? You have insurance on your house, you have insurance on your car, you need insurance on yourself. And that insurance I'm talking about right now is planning. So it's estate planning that's enforceable. Don't do it yourself. And it's a plan as to how you want to be taken care of when you can't take care of yourself. All these kinds of things. I have additional resources on my website, nancycogar.com, and you can find all these things. Not to mention also my new book coming up, BoomerTime Blueprint, has lots and lots of resources and discussions. Not only that, real-life examples of how this works or doesn't work. So make sure to order your copy today. Here's an issue that oftentimes comes up, but it's one of those, you know what? I forgot about that. Nancy, thank you for mentioning that. I just wasn't thinking about that. That's what I'm here for, right? Well, I'm talking about reviewing and updating beneficiary designations. Okay, these are things that will pass outside of a will or maybe outside of a trust, but they won't if you don't have updated beneficiaries on them. So you need to make sure that, say you put your spouse on your life insurance policy, right? And maybe they passed away. Who's second in line, right? Whoever is second in line, if there's a second in line, they'll become first in line. So guess what? You have to put a new number 2 in place. You would be amazed at how many people don't do this. It is important as part of an overall, inventory when it comes to planning. Look at your beneficiary designations. Regardless of where you are, if these things pass by beneficiary designation, you need to keep those updated. Hey, I have folks that even forget altogether about assets that they have. Seems crazy, doesn't it? But it happens. So take note of these things and please New Year's resolution for 2026, right? Do what I suggest. You don't have to do it with me. You can do it with another attorney. Just make sure they are an estate planning and elder law attorney licensed in the state where you live, because that's what you need. So here's also one of those issues that, you may spend hours and hours worried about, could keep you up at night, and you can do something about it. So why wouldn't you? I am talking about dependent adult children. Say you've got a child that has some kind of disability and you've been taking care of them, up to now with their lives. Hey, I know lots of people like that. But why in the world wouldn't you put some provisions and protections in place for your adult child that needs this extra help? I don't get it. But I can tell you, I see people who refuse to do this all the time. I know of one person in particular now that this disabled person, he is beside himself, so worried about where he's going to go, what's going to happen to him. His brothers are now looking at selling the family home where he's lived his entire life. And Dad refused to do anything about it. I just think that's sad. But you don't have to do that. You can sit down with me. You can sit down with an estate planning attorney, and you can talk about some of these issues. And even if it's not a disability, say it's an addiction, say they're terrible with money, these are things you can do something about. So why wouldn't you? I have made it almost to number 10. So I told you I was going to try to do 10 or so. So I will have a resource and a worksheet online for you that's available and relates to today's discussion. So if you go to nancycogar.com, you can find that. And I hope that's an extra help. Most of all, I hope it leads to you taking some action, because that's what I want. I want you to be aware and prepared, and I want you to have the right people in place to make those decisions for you if and when you need them. All right, before I finish, I am going to do number 10, so that way I've given you what you wanted, right? At least I promised 10-ish. So 10, as part of every planning process, and I've hinted at this before, but inventory all those assets. That means any property that you own. You need to inventory people you owe, right? We need to know where your debts are. Who are they with? And we need a list of doctors, prescriptions, emergency contacts. That information is not necessarily available. Why create a problem where we're racing around trying to look for things when you can do this right now? And you don't even need a lawyer for that. Get a notebook, start collecting this information. And I've got resources on my website too, nancycogar.com, where you can print those out, fill them in, put them in the book, and you will be making a difference. And you will probably be helping yourself, future self, without even realizing it. So the worst thing in the world is to have lost accounts, unpaid obligations, say there's a default because your family didn't know something needed to get paid. And worst of all, they don't know it's there when you die. So there are billions of dollars of assets that are called unclaimed assets that are on websites, including the state of Tennessee's website. You'd be surprised at what I see on there from time to time. Don't let your assets be on that list. A lot of good stuff here today, I think. What do you think? Hey, I'd love to hear from you. Why don't you reach out to me, nancycogar.com. Is there something you have a question about that you can't find the answer, you're not sure? Reach out to me. I want this to be as helpful as possible, and I want to know what you want to hear. So let me know how I'm doing. Hey, we're at season 3 and our community is building, and I am so excited about that. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's something in particular that I mentioned that's really helped you. And most of all, if you're here in the Chattanooga area or in Tennessee, call me up and schedule a strategy session. I would love to sit down with you, and it would be a pleasure, and love to help you with your own strategy. How's that sound? Alrighty, well, thanks for sticking with me, and don't forget to pre-order my book. You are going to be glad you did. So, I'll see you next time.